Psalm 20 is a prayer for a king, particularly in anticipation of battle, expressing the people's hope for God's intervention and the king's confidence in God's power, emphasizing trust in God over human strength. Psalm 20 is a powerful prayer directed toward a king, particularly in preparation for battle. It articulates the people's hopes for divine intervention while emphasizing the king's confidence in God's omnipotence, highlighting the importance of trusting God over human strength. This psalm is a definitive supplication from the people of Israel, seeking blessings and victory for their monarch during war and crisis. The people fervently pray for God to grant the king triumph and protection, underscoring God's unwavering presence from the sanctuary and from Zion. The text contrasts reliance on earthly power, embodied by chariots and horses, with profound faith in God's ability to secure victory, emphasizing the king's trust in divine assistance. The psalm expresses a strong expectation of God's response to the king's prayers, asserting he will deliver salvation to his anointed leader through his might. Specific interpretations view this psalm as a precursor to Christ, with the king symbolizing the Messiah. This indicates that the themes of prayer and victory find fulfillment in Christ as the ultimate anointed one. The psalm emphasizes trusting in God's name and power rather than relying on worldly resources. Ultimately, the psalm conveys elation and anticipation for God's salvation, reinforcing the belief that such outcomes will manifest through the king, with God's intervention as a critical source of hope. The psalm is a prayer from the people of Israel to God, asking for blessings and victory for their king, especially during war or trouble. The people pray that God would answer the king's prayers, grant him victory, and protect him from harm, emphasizing God's presence and support from the sanctuary and from Zion. The psalm contrasts reliance on human strength, like chariots and horses, with trust in God's power, highlighting the king's faith in God's ability to bring victory. The psalm anticipates God's response to the king's prayers and the people's petitions, believing God will save his anointed one with his power. Some interpretations see Psalm 20 as a foreshadowing of Christ, with the king representing the Messiah, and the psalm's themes of prayer, protection, and victory finding fulfillment in Christ's role as the ultimate anointed one. The psalm emphasizes trusting God's name and power rather than relying on worldly resources or human strength. The psalm expresses joy and anticipation for God's salvation and victory, which the people believe will come through their king, and God's intervention expresses